With the UN's Paris Agreement on Climate Change implemented in 2021, more and more countries are choosing to support carbon-neutral actions to achieve their carbon reduction goals. Carbon neutrality can also accelerate the revolution in energy technology and industry. Besides, achieving peak carbon emissions is both an international commitment in global climate negotiations and a necessary option for countries to achieve structural economic transformation and sustainable development. This purposive short review of literature captured the current knowledge on the assistive technologies for improving the quality of life for both Alzheimer's patients and their caregivers. The cost of the devices will have to be brought down so that more patients and caregivers get the benefit. The robustness and dependability of the devices also require further research and improvements. The review also brought out the need for further debates and studies on various aspects of the assistive technologies, including ethical and privacy issues. This field of high subjective experimentation thus founds a framework of reasonable expectation of proactivity, well-being and dignified life, revealing a structure of care and protection. The new age thus becomes a possible world of people who wish to live, care for themselves, grow, as well as experience new things. So, the model of old age as something precarious, deficient and exhausted is definitively delegitimized, making it almost offensive to speak of old man or old woman. The typical AOI machine is composed of optics, camera, and illumination module. LED-based lighting is used for most AOI illumination purposes. However, the amount of illumination that used is just for the purpose. Although the programmable illumination module can be applied to decide how much illumination should be used, it also increases the risk of reduced field of view, FOV, and inhomogeneous lights distribution. The state of matter inside the cores of massive neutron stars is probably one of the greatest secrets of the universe. Here, the effects of both quantum and strong gravitational fields are at work, and as these objects are dynamically stable, their effects seem to be perfectly coordinated. The related question here is, do the laws of nature encode an upper limit on the maximum possible energy density, beyond which matter becomes insensitive to further compression? The natural factor of free trade port is the natural condition that decides the foundation construction of free trade port. For example, the most basic port construction site must be coastal areas, with a certain ship sailing in the berthing conditions. The sea area is stable, with less wind and waves, to ensure the safety of port ship navigation, and has good land conditions for the processing and storage of goods and transportation. The more perfect the natural elements are, the higher the basic scale and value of the port will be. The majority of the population in developing countries have limited access to clean energy. To increase access to clean energy, the governments and other stakeholders have been working hard to create enabling environments for their adoption and utilization. For the household cooking sector, technological innovations such as improved biomass fuels, improved biomass cookstove, solar cooking, biogas and recently bottled gas service have been or are being deployed to scale up clean cooking. The main goal of the agro-industrial system in the food security sector is to possibly meet the population's demand for the staple food products at the expense of domestic production with the account of the latter's safety for the consumer's health, upon the provision of sustainable progress based on the development strategy of the country's economy and labor division and specialization regularities. The economy is the creation, transformation, and realization of value. From the micro point of view, the prosperity of a family depends on economic prosperity, the development of a city depends on economic development, and then to the macro point of view, the foundation of a country's prosperity is the economic level, so the location value of the free trade port must have a close relationship with the economy. It can be said that the infrastructure construction and subsequent development of free trade ports needs strong economic support to complete. The concept of aging society includes the quantitative factor that there will be more and more older people according to population transitions. But, at the same time, qualitative factors such as quality of life, identity changes and the experience of high changes in the subjectivity need to be included alongside these quantitative factors. So, the purpose and significance of the paper indicate that is necessary to ensure structures that can tolerate the new scenarios of this current generation of older people, who seek new life options, renewed emotional perspectives and transgenerational confrontation with traditional models of aging and grandparenthood. The concept of location value of free trade port is put forward for analysis and research, which is defined as the economic capacity and value of the port jointly determined by the natural resources, economic level, and social and cultural environment of the free trade port, which has a sustainable development value created based on the advantages of the port itself and combined with factors such as culture, policy, science, and technology. The concept of active, or successful, aging has been slowly but inexorably gaining ground in the field of new paradigms of old age. While retaining the term, aging, this new perspective aims to invert the conception of old age in terms of deficit, decline or decrepitude, emphasizing the generative and productive capacity of the older adult, repositioning him or her as a relevant actor in social events. It emphasizes continuity rather than discontinuity, resilience and potential rather than loss and deficit, and the potential and possibilities that aging might imply, thus suggesting new forms of social insertion, indicating what the older adult is able to contribute to society. 18. The agro-industrial system has traditionally been and is currently one of the most important sectors in the structure of the raw economy. According to the data of the last 5 years, its specific weight in the gross domestic product of the country was averagely 32.6%, including agriculture, 19.8%. The number of people employed in agriculture and forest enterprises is about half of the total number of people employed. The advanced demographic transition that countries around the world are going through, to a greater or lesser extent, has often been described in terms of a challenge. This challenge refers to the adaptations and reconfigurations that governments and states must approach in the face of an increasingly aging society and a population replacement rate that is becoming negative or non-existent. The reconfigurations of urban planning, buildings, health, education, pensions, employment, social and family policies are part of an agenda that demands attention and debate, and in the face of which procrastination and denial can lead to real dead ends for society as a whole. Specially designed clocks are available to dementia patients. These clocks help reduce anxiety levels as the layout is considerably simplified. The 12-hour clocks often confuse patients, so these clocks are designed. These clocks allow the patient to read time and tell which part of the day it is. Some specific aspects of successful aging are related with new love and bond experimentations, new kind of community participation, new kind of relationships with families and specially with grandsons, and perhaps it is also necessary to emphasize the new models of political participation, around experiences of resilience and empowerment. Smart sockets are available and can be installed in caregiving facilities and homes. These sockets can be remotely controlled and issue alerts to connected smartphones. Whenever a patient plugs into an electrical appliance, a notification is sent to the caregiver. If the caregiver finds the device unsafe for use by the patient, the caregiver can turn off the electricity supply for the patient's safety. Since peace and development are two major themes of the world, countries have been trading more frequently. The rapid development of foreign trade has brought the world together to face the challenge of rapidly increasing energy demand, and thus the challenge of energy supply has become a major bottleneck for national economic development. Economic growth, one of the four main objectives of macroeconomic policy, is in conflict with the need to reduce energy use. Therefore, the relationship between economic growth and energy use is a matter of urgency. Silk recognition, being one of the most important parts of AOI inspection, plays a crucial role in tracking produced PCB board. However, due to uneven heating in the reflow process, outdated illumination techniques, and insufficient lighting technology, silk recognition is particularly hard for most PCB plants. Error rate is quite high that plenty of good boards are classified into bad boards, which results in laborious human re-identification after AOI machine. Researchers are developing useful technologies to prevent caregiver burnouts and facilitate families in the best possible manner. The goal of this purposive short review of literature is to study the modern tools, devices, and gadgets available to Alzheimer's patients and caregivers and understand the focus areas for future research.